Fallacy is actually false claims but appears as true. That is called fallacy. It's a wrong kind of argumentation that people usually do. Among the most prominent fallacies, there is the begging the question fallacy, not to answer the question but returning the question as an answer. That means not to answer the real question and keep the question within the question. That is the begging the question fallacy.
So the Socratic method, we know that there's sometimes it happens that Socratic method is called like a questioner asks something to Socrates, and Socrates would just ask another question to answer the question.
It's the dialectic method. Dialectic method.
Yeah.
Dialectic method.
If we
In
say
dialectic
defense-
method, Socrates do not claims that he is giving an answer. Instead, he is seeking clarification of the question. So he is questioning the question.
Yeah,
He is not giving an answer. He is not pretending that he is given an answer. But in the begging the
but
question
the
fallacy,
final thing is that by his questions the main questioner will get the answer by his repeated question, like
maybe this is the way of answering the questions, not to answer the question but raise another question, and the listener gets an understanding, a sort of answer. But the begging the question fallacy is that to answer a question, to claim that I have answered a question, actually I have shifted the question. Supposedly, if we say that nobody, there is no creator, according to the law of nature, everything has been created. Actually, this kind of answer to the question, is there any creator? If someone says there is no creator but there is natural laws, according, then comes the next question: who has given the natural law? Who has set the natural law? What is that
by
thing
what
called natural
standard
law?
can we say that?
So we see that the original question was the ontology of becoming, how things get to come in existence. But the very answer that it is not God but nature is not the answer of the question.
Yes.
This is a begging the question fallacy.
That is, it evokes another question to the questioner, right?
Not
That is-
to evoke another question from the answer of the question is not a begging the question fallacy. Begging the question is fallacy. The original question is there. In that so-called answer, there is no concrete explanation, and the very question is there in another form or with some another words.
That is, the answer is not given properly. Right?
Yeah, it's not proper answer.
That is indirect something, saying something indirect
it
without
is not
any logic.
indirect, it is false answer.
Yeah, without giving any logic. Actually, the new question comes, but he is not giving that answer again.
Actually, this is not new question. This is the same question.
Comes in another
same
form.
question, another form. The same question. Okay. We know that whatever we want to say, we can express in different languages. So, linguistic difference doesn't mean that this is something new, question or answer or whatever. Begging the question fallacy. Another fallacy could be, the straw man fallacy. Suppose you are opposing another people and claiming that I have answered the question, I have refuted him, and I have won over the game or debate. But actually, you have defeated a false position of your opponent. Suppose you have made a straw man of me, and then punch the the doll, and
saying that
and you say, I have defeated you, I have passed you, you are destroyed. But
self-deception is a kind of, right?
so distort the position of the opponent. It is the straw man fallacy. Another fallacy could be prominent fallacy is the red herring fallacy. Red herring fallacy is that you are going in some way, and suddenly, without any reason, you have just changed the course of the discussion and the line. This is a red herring fallacy. Maybe that issue is also very much important, but this is not issue at hand. not
That is
not
diverting
issue,
from issue to another
and
irrelevant
another
issue, right?
another issue, the red herring fallacy.
So why is it called red herring? That
Red herring
there
is
history behind?
yeah. There's a story that when we train the dogs for some inquiry or search program, that so the trainer draws something, I can say, suppose a dry fish, dragging on the on the field. So apparently there is no line, but if the dog smells a line, okay, and at the advanced level, the trainers does something unique. They draw some different lines of smelling, okay, and then give the dog the order to follow this smell. And if the dog is trained up, he will not focus on another smells and lines of smell.
He will not get deceived.
Deceived. He will just follow to the last the consistent line of smell.
Oh,
So if he is not skilled enough, going further and having another smell, likewise, he may go to follow that line of smell.
go astray.
That is called red herring. Okay. Among the prominent fallacies, there is another fallacy is that argument ad hominem. This is the person, fallacy. Suppose someone says that must be true because Mr. X is saying that, meaning X is a very good person, so he must be speaking the truth, and whatever he says is right. So, taking an argument granted because you like the person, or taking an argument as false
because
you don't like the person.
Yes.
Okay, and there are so many variety of this kind of argument. That means popularity, because all the people says this, that must be true. Or there may be some argument to pity. See, I am sick. You accept my whatever I say. You are being sick and you are argumenting for something is not the same thing. There are so many varieties of this kind of argument. Okay, there may be some another fallacy that is called the composition fallacy, or the opposite one is I'm just missing the term. Suppose something is true for the thing as a whole, imposing that thing on the parts of the whole. It's kind of fallacy.
Like
Suppose
we say the elephant, okay? Elephant is like this, elephant is like this, elephant is like this.
No,
Is
actually
it
not that.
Example
not
of
that.
like that.
Suppose this wall, this building is visible. This building is composed of atoms. So I claim that atoms is also visible.
Oh.
But actually, the building is visible, that's true, but atom is not visible. On the contrary, if you...
So we are transferring the adjectives, right?
You are putting one's, property or
Characteristics
characteristic to
to
another one.
Yeah, transferred epithet or something.
Okay, it's a reductionist approach. There may be an anti-reductionist approach. Suppose that if we say that the atoms are invisible and this building is
Also
made up of bricks, bricks are composed of atoms,
That's
so the building is invisible. Actually, the building is visible.
that's type of bad logic we are giving, right?
Right, that logic. Fallacy discussion is very interesting, but
there are hundreds of
in fallacies there are two kinds of fallacies. One kind of fallacy is called the formal fallacies. Another kind of fallacy is called informal fallacies. Informal fallacies, you can just fix the form. If it is with that form, then it must be fallacious. It must be wrong. Just you see the structure of the argument and you can say that it is fallacious or not. This is called formal fallacy. And informal fallacy is that you cannot say anything true or false, fallacious or not, simply by a structure. With the same structure, something could be fallacious and something could be not fallacious. Suppose this wall is made of bricks. All the bricks, each brick is suppose red. So I can say that the building is red. I'm right. I'm not. It's not fallacy. Okay. So by the very structure, you cannot say that it is wrong. So how can you define that something is wrong or not by the by rationality, by reason?
Or
By-
you can
by-
say by using syllogism or something, right?
Oh, okay.
In that
If
way.
you say syllogism, which syllogism is right, which syllogism is wrong?
Yeah, we have to go
So
deep.
we have to come back to the original point, our power of argumentation, our the power of reasoning, our sense of rightness and wrongness. So
Or the common
your
sense.
very sense,
That's important.
common sense is no sense, but a composition of all other senses.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Common sense is the basis of
it fulfills
all-
everything. Or
it
something.
fulfills everything, but it's nothing.
It's nothing. it's not
So,
seen anywhere.
I have taken a special class in second year, epistemology today. There I have discussed all these things, related things, the criteria of justification. There are theories like foundationalism versus coherentism, evidentialism versus reliabilism, internalism versus externalism. There are so many others ways of justification. So according to foundationalism, we have some foundation, and we have to relate with those foundations to say right or wrong. According to coherentism, there is no such foundation. We just see consistency to each other. Okay.
From our experience.
From our experience. In evidentialism, we see that if you have evidence for, then you are justified. Okay. But someone says that someone may have evidence for something, but that could be false from a holistic point of view. So you must depend on some reliable source. Okay. Evidentialism versus reliabilism. There are so many things. But at the end of the day, we are referred to our something inner sense.
Do you say
External,
intuition or
internalist,
something?
intention, of course. Intentionalist, we would like to say that we have something internal given within us, which are the basis of justification. But externalists will say that no, we don't. We are with a blank page. Our experience gives us experience.
So
from
you are
the-
going
our-
rationalism to
our- yeah.
yeah.
So if you think about rationalism or empiricism, on the source of knowledge, someone is a proponent of rationalism, that our reason gives us true knowledge. Someone says that our experience gives us true knowledledge.
Yes.
So if we discuss about perceptualism or empiricism, experience, well, we experience something. Actually, what do we experience? This is called the binding problem in philosophy of mind. Actually, our experiences are discrete, are purse. We stitch our experiences.
It's like a video.
and make an idea, a complete idea.
Yeah.
Something
From a lot of images,
something binds
we
within.
compile.
Suppose you are an you are an empiricist. You think that your experience is the source of knowledge. Why do you say that your experience is the source of knowledge? Because if you say that my experience tells me that my experience is the better source of knowledge, then you have got the begging the question fallacy, circularity. Okay. Okay.
Right.
This is called a kind of tautology, that means circular argument. P is true because P says that P is true. It means that the argument form is the P is P.
But you are claiming something to be self-evident when it is not, right? Just something like.
Well, if you say self-evident, so self-evident is a very nice vocabulary. Self-evident, very nice rhetoric. Self-evident.
But what is the standard
But
of being
every
self-
false thing could claim that I am self-evident.
Yes, there is no logic behind. Or what is the standard to
Suppose
be
there-
something
suppose-
self-evident?
Suppose there is a logic behind. What is the logic of logic?
Yes.
If everything should have basis, logic should have a basis.
That's a-
And then there is a
That's the thing, the question stops.
No stop. In philosophy there is no stop. You can run throughout his life. Okay, the philosophical logic or philosophy of logics is a branch of philosophy, and we have course in third year or fourth year undergrad.
There is no end of searching these things.
Yeah,
right?
because life has no ending. Argument has no ending.
So,
if you are pleased to have an end, you have to get a stop at some point, and you can say that this is the last point, because you can go further, and this involves another kind of fallacy.
thank you for giving us time. So we have made a nice video, I think.
Let's play after Maghrib, eh?